Hey guys, so today we're going to be taking a look at these watercolor crayons. They are absolutely beautiful. I have the 36 pack and look at all these amazing colors. I'm going to be creating a beautiful bunch of flowers with some greens. These are the colors I'm using and all of these are listed in the description below, so be sure to check that out. So this is the second time that I'm using these watercolor crayons, so bear with me because I'm learning as well. I love watercolor painting though, and today I'm going to be using a size 10 watercolor brush. These brushes I just get from my local art and craft shop in a pack of 5 of them, and this is going to be the size 10 that I'm using today. So we are going to start off using our dark purple color, and for those of you that don't know, purple is my favorite color, so I use it all the time. So of course we're going to be starting with the dark purple today, and we're just going to do a very basic flower with 5 petals. So just section that off and really don't worry about it being perfect. We want to scribble, we want to make the lines messy. Honestly, we're not worrying about our pictures looking perfect today. It's going to be very messy looking. After all, why don't we just have fun with these crayons? Make it messy, make it fun, and yeah, just have fun with your designs. After all, isn't that the best thing about art? It's not actually creating the finished piece, it's actually the journey that we take while we're creating the art. At least that's the case with me anyway. The finished product at the end is just a bonus if it turns out well. For me, creating the art is where I really enjoy being, that creative zone and that creative space. So I hope my enthusiasm encourages you guys to enjoy being in that space as much as I do. So as you can see, now I'm going to be adding my dark green, and you know, like I said before, we're just keeping these lines very basic. I'm using the sides of my crayons as well as the tip, so I find that I get a lot better surface area when I use the sides of the crayons. And what I'm doing is I'm using a mixture of the dark and the light green in the leaves, so hopefully when I add water, it gives a nice gradient of color, just like I'm doing with these flowers. So I'm going over the darkest color first, and then I fill it in with the pink in the middle of these petals. So I'm hoping that I'm not going to mix the colors together too much, because otherwise it might just make a muddy, horrible, color. Instead, I'm wanting to show the different colors, so I have a gradient of light to dark, and also, showing the different colors that I used when I created these flowers. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, like I said, just have fun with it. And also don't worry if you get splashes or drips of water in or around these flowers. After all, this is a watercolor painting, and splashes totally work on watercolor paintings. I love splashing on watercolor paintings. It just, brings out the colors and it brings out a different dimension, which I really like. But of course, you don't have to do that if you don't like them. It's totally up to you. And of course, feel free to, use different colors when you're creating these flowers. And please don't forget to tag me on social media, on Facebook, Instagram. If you make any TikTok videos, be sure to tag me so I get to see your creations. Right, now it is time to do some fine lining with some black pens. So my watercolor painting has completely dried, and now I'm going to use these 3 pens to add some detail, and this is where we can make our picture really pop and look cool. So I just use these 3 size pens, which are listed below in the description, and I add in some details. And of course you can add in as little or as much detail as you like with these black pens. You can use any black pens. These ones are hang on a minute, what are they? They are a graphic fine liner pen. You can also use an Art Studio pigment liner. There's so many different pens you can use these days. Honestly, guys, give it a go and just see which ones are your favorite. So I'm using the 3 different sizes, and I'm starting with the thickest size, the biggest pen first, and then I'm going to go back with the smaller sizes and add in more shading and more details later on, after I've outlined all my basic shapes with the thick black pen first. Okay, so now we're finished with our black pen, we're going to add some highlights, and I'm using a white charcoal pencil to add in some highlights. Now keep in mind, wherever you add the white charcoal pencil, you won't be able to go over the top of with white pen, because of course I'm going to use a white pen and probably a white posca pen as well. I love my highlights. I think they really give a nice effect, and they add a nice depth to paintings and to pictures. Totally up to you whether you want to do this or not. It kind of gives a bit of a smooth, airbrushed kind of feel to flowers or to, you know, your picture, which I really like. And for me, I like using a whole range of different techniques in my one painting. So if you like this, then give it a try. Maybe try it on one flower and not the others, just to give it a go and see if you like it or not. The white charcoal pencil turns up or shows up really well on dark colors as well. So keep that in mind. If you have any, you know, dark spots that, you know, you don't really like, maybe some brown, you know, colors mixed together that you don't really like, add in some lines of charcoal and they turn up really well. And I just use a blender to blend the charcoal in as well. And here I go with my white gel pen. Now it doesn't show up very well on top of the chalk, the charcoal underneath, but that's okay. I still managed to get a few lines in, do a few scribbles here and there. I like my scribbles, I like my lines, you know, I think they add quite a nice effect. You could also do some dots as well, which I don't do in this piece, but adding some dots within the petals can look really nice as well. Probably with the Posca pen, I would add some larger, more opaque dots. I think that would look pretty cool, but yeah, I don't actually do that in this painting, but keep that in mind if you need any more ideas. Okay, now it is time to use our Posca pen. So I have two different sizes here, but I'm just going to use the smallest size. And like I said before, totally use the big one to do some dots in here because I think that'd look really cool. And now I'm just adding some more highlights. So the Posca pen is a lot more opaque. It's a lot easier to see. It stands out really well with a nice thick line. So yeah, just do a few scribbles, do a few lines, add in a few dots in the center of that top left flower if you'd like. It just adds some nice highlighting and makes the flower have a little bit of depth, which yeah, looks really cool. And here we go, guys. Here is a close-up. Check out those colors and those scribbles. So yeah, I really like these crayons. They're going to be so beautiful to add to my abstract paintings. Make sure you check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Follow me if you don't already. Please like and subscribe because it really helps my channel. Thanks, guys. I hope you enjoyed.